That's the word Pela of high spirit. Right.
Can we all remain standing for a moment of silent prayer and meditation? Thank you. You may all be seated. Good morning, honorable colleagues. Let me take this opportunity to welcome our acting honorable premier, Honorable Mamabulo, members of the Executive Council, the Chief Whip and the Deputy Chief Whip, leaders of political parties, members of the provincial legislature, our guests, the media, and the people of Gauteng. Welcome this morning. We have received the following apologies. You know, when I miss you, Honorable Msimang, you must come and behave. I miss you so much. Yeah, but don't make noise, please. Thank you. Honorable Bosch, who's in Cape Town on NCOP business. Honorable MEC Hlophe, attending the National Women in Agricultural Land Reform and Rural Development Awards outside of the province. Honorable Makubela, the Chief Whip, who's writing exams. Honorable Deputy Speaker Manamela, who can be here on an urgent personal matter. Honorable Badenhorst, who's on study leave. Honorable Masilela, urgent personal matter. Honorable Khatebe, who is not well but will be able to join virtually. Honorable Nkomorale, who will join the sitting late as he's attending to other pressing matters of the department. Let me wish all those that are not well a speedy recovery, including one of the officials. I'm sure we all know Ntate Franz, who collapsed this morning. Ntate Franz is one of the cleaners, and he is responsible mainly for the chamber. He collapsed while working in the morning, so he was rushed to hospital. Can we keep him to our prayers? Though we also want to wish all those that are writing exams that they pass their exams, including all the matriculants in our country. We wish them well. May they shine the flag of Gauteng, but also of South Africa, including making their parents proud. On the announcements, or in particular, I think Honorable Maile, I know that at times he used to be absent in the sittings, and when I announced that he is attending classes, honorable members will take it as a joke. Today, he is graduating. And on behalf of all the members, I've sent the message that you are also congratulating him as honorable members. I know that many of you are studying, and we also wish you all the best. Any member who is not studying, Honorable Mamabulo, I think we must take those members to the DC. We don't have a DC, we'll just create a special DC for those that are not studying. Yeah. On the announcement, the Premier, Honorable A.P. Lesufi, has appointed Honorable Mabulo as acting Premier of the Gauteng Province from Saturday, the 28th of October to Wednesday, the 1st of November, 2023, in accordance with Section 1311, Sub 1A, and Section 13 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. I've already wished everyone well for or good luck for the exams, including our matriculants. But I think we are proud also as a nation of the Springboks. I know that many of you wanted to go and welcome them at the airport. I'm told that the touchdown is at 10 to 11. So after that, we might be done with our sitting, then we can rush to the airport. I think it will be a good gesture if as members we do that. But if we can't make it because of other engagements, I'm sure because they'll be in a tour around our province, we can always join them. It's a good thing to do. But also be encouraged to also send the messages. They will be receiving those messages. I know that many of you have been also sending messages while they were in France, and those messages were given to them. Let me also wish well the Proteas that are making us proud. Tomorrow they'll be playing. They will be playing. Can I finish, Honorable Simang? You can't just interrupt me like that. We are so excited. I think you miss me as well. Yeah, but don't express it in that way. Yeah. The Proteas, we wish them well tomorrow night. They'll be playing their final. We also wish them and we're praying with them as well. We are also proud of our girls, Banyana Banyana, who on Sunday, they beat DRC Congo 2-0. We'll forever be grateful because unlike Bafana Bafana, Banyana Banyana, they are forever making us proud. And when I watched the game, you know, I wished I could turn back, you know, my ages and be young and play soccer as well. Yeah, no. Thank you very much. I think those are my announcements. I know that there are members who might want to do their announcements, starting with Honorable Dr. Masugu.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker and the citizens of Gauteng, honorable members. I stand to make an announcement that on the 27th October 2023, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution calling for an immediate, durable, sustained humanitarian truce between Israel forces and Hamas militants in Gaza. It also demanded that the continuous, sufficient and unhindered provision of life-saving supplies and services for the civilians trapped inside the enclave Gaza, as news reports suggest Israel has expanded ground operation and it intensified its bombing campaigns. The 193-member World Body adopted the resolution by a vote of 120 to 14, with 14 abstentions, after rejecting a Canadian amendment backed by the United States. Israel forces have killed 3.4 Palestinian children in Gaza since October 7, accounting for more than 40% death toll. One Palestinian child has been killed every 10 minutes. As of today, the death toll is climbing to over 8,000. We support the call made by the South Africans on Monday, who called for the United Nations to deploy a rapid protection force to protect civilians in Palestine enclave of Gaza for further bombardment as Israel steps up its retaliation for deadly attack by the militant group Hamas. From river to the sea, Palestine will be free, free, free Palestine.
Any other member wants to do a member statement? An announcement? There's none. Thank you. In terms of MEC statements, in terms of Rule 79, subsection 1, there is none. Member statements in terms of Rule 81, subsection 1, Honorable Atkinson.
Thank you very much, Chair. Premier Panyaza Lesufi must urgently request the Special Investigating Unit to investigate the serious allegations against the MEC for Economic Development, Tasneem Matara, and her husband. A group of concerned Gauteng Gambling Board employees have written a joint letter to Premier Panyaza Lesufi regarding allegations of maladministration, financial misconduct, governance breakdown, and institutional capture. In January this year, the acting CEO, Tiran Marimuthu, was removed from his position by the MEC because his term had exceeded 6 months. This took place at a time when the GGB was in the process of appointing a permanent CEO. However, it seems like the MEC overstepped by terminating the employment of the acting CEO, as the power to do so lies with the board. MEC Matara then appointed Karabo Mbedi to be the acting CEO for 6 months, or until a permanent CEO is appointed, whichever comes first. She was appointed despite not having the necessary qualifications for the position. If this government is serious about running a transparent government, they would take the allegations made by the employees of the GGB seriously and institute an urgent investigation. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Tilange.
Madam Speaker, good morning. Numerous cases of children dying after allegedly eating contaminated food obtained from spaza shops in Gauteng can largely be ascribed to the lack of enforcement of health regulations at these outlets. In recent years, Madam Speaker, spaza shops have been notorious for selling counterfeit products. From fake lotto tickets to food substitutions to counterfeit medication, fraudulent products have been rife in the convenience stores across the nation. Furthermore, these products are often presented as legitimate, everyday products by the way of fabricated labels. Fake products are intentionally misrepresented purely for financial gain at the expense of the consumers. This includes the sale of expired food, contaminated drinks and sweets, reprocessed products, often packaged in unregulated makeshift backrooms. These fake products are not only detrimental to the health and the safety of citizens across the nation, but they also have a ripple effect on our societies. The elderly, young children, and everyday citizens with allergies are highly vulnerable to these disreputable products. Adulterated products contain toxic chemicals, fungi, allergens, dangerous substances, and unsanitary ingredients. The key issue with this dispersion of these toxic products is the lack of regulation of convenience stores. A lack of monitoring means that countless stores sell unsafe products without consequences. There are various regulations in place to provide legal safeguards for consumers, as well as ensuring the proper premises and labelling of food products. However, it is clear that the implementation of these regulations has been dangerously inadequate. The government is the gatekeepers when it comes to issues of public safety, particularly where food is concerned. Environmental health practitioners appointed by Department of Health are responsible for the management of the food safety regulations. They have the power to take action against owners of non-compliant food premises, enforcing stricter regulations, penalties, and license regulations. It is key to addressing this issue. Communities need to report suspicious activities and unscrupulous products immediately. Schools and all educational institutions need to be critical in determining which vendors and food establishments are safe and regulated. I conclude by quoting the words of Pope John Paul II. The humanity of a nation is judged by the way it treats its vulnerable people. Let us therefore remain vigilant and ensure that our children are not exposed to harmful substances. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Malema.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and greetings to the House at large. Madam Speaker, the ANC themed 2023 as the year of decisive action to advance the people's interest and renew our movement. Guided by this theme, Madam Speaker, the Gauteng ANC Provincial Executive Council held its Lekgotla early this year and committed to ensuring that the organization vigorously addresses problems affecting the people of Gauteng. This commitment has resulted in many practical actions taken by the ANC-led Gauteng provincial government. Amongst those is the Transformer Replacement Program, which Gauteng provincial government started rolling out on the 24th of October in Kagiso, West Rand. The Gauteng provincial government, in partnership with the City Power and Eskom, is replacing damaged and stolen transformers in Gauteng. This will ensure that all communities that did not have access to electricity outside of load shedding schedule due to stolen and broken transformers will now have undisturbed access. The Transformer Replacement Program forms part of the Gauteng Energy Response Plan, which includes, among others, 1, ensuring energy security for desirable economic growth, to ensuring universal, affordable, and modern energy to all citizens of the Gauteng City region. 3, diversifying energy sources within the province to include renewables and other forms of energy. And lastly, promoting energy efficiency measures across all sectors of the economy and improving provincial energy governance and administration. The ANC is pleased with the less talk and more work approach of the ANC-led Gauteng provincial government. The ANC is particularly happy with the implementation of ANC priorities, which our people are benefiting from without any favor. Ria Transformer, Madam Speaker, Remoro, we are growing Gauteng together. Thank you very much.
Honorable Mfikwe.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Good morning, honorable members. Honorable Speaker of the House and all House chairs, Honorable Acting Premier, Honorable Mama Bolo, members of the Executive Council, Honorable members of the Legislature, and Gauteng residents. Madam Speaker, on the 27th of October, we celebrated the posthumous birthday of President Oliver Reginald Tambo, President OR, as he was affectionately known, who was the longest-serving president of the ANC. He led a popular struggle for the creation of a non-racial, non-sexist, free, just, and democratic South Africa. We also celebrated, Madam Speaker, on the 21st of October, the posthumous birthday for Mema Sisulu, a woman of fortitude, a fearless fighter for women and children's rights. Accordingly, Madam Speaker, Section 9, Chapter 3 of the Constitution of the Republic forbids discrimination based on gender or sexual orientation. As the ANC-led government, we strongly believe that sexual orientation and gender identity are integral aspects of ourselves and should never lead to discrimination or abuse. As a country, we remain committed to the human rights of lesbians, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, and asexual community. We are guided by the fighting spirit of President OR. Madam Speaker, while we acknowledge strong legal protection in the Republic, there are some pockets of violence directed against the LGBTQIA+ community. According to research, many countries in Africa have poor reputations when it comes to LGBTQIA+ rights, with disappointingly, studies reveal that of the 69 countries that criminalize same-sex relations, 33 are in Africa. Similarly, leaders in Ghana, Uganda, Nigeria, and Tanzania have in recent years initiated vocal attacks against the LGBTQIA+ people. These attacks are undertaken under a guise of African values or religious grounds. Madam Speaker, however, all is not lost. Studies further indicate that across the continent, there is a growing legal opposition and challenges to these archaic laws, as these archaic laws are increasing, if not always successful. We call upon the ANC-led South African government, as a member of state of African Union, to continue lobbying for much-needed policy reforms at continental level for the betterment of LGBTQIA+ rights. The LGBTQIA+ rights are human rights. On the same breath, Madam Speaker, we wish Matric Class of 23 all the best. Remoho, we are working together with our communities. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Mukhali. A. Mukhali.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honourable members, in accordance with Rule 81(1), I, Honourable Refilo Mukhali, table the following member statement on message of support and encouragement to all matriculants in Gauteng Province. Madam Speaker, ANC-led government is proudly and encourages that this year is the year of excellence to all matriculants in Gauteng for both private and public schools to make a province a shining star as compared to other provinces. Gauteng will always take a leading role for the better achievement. We know that you learners are about to face a very important and stressful moment in your lives, but take into cognizance that all the hard work and dedication are not in vain. They have brought you to this significant point, much as we recognize that you are capable of success. Madam Speaker, the ANC-led government, we are confident of all the work that Gauteng Department of Education, the school management, and educators have done to prepare this class of 2023 for their final exams. We are also confident that the learners, both in private and public education schools, are fully prepared and ready for this crucial examination period. Honorable members, we want to indicate that all the hard work and sleepless nights have led the learners to the final line. May you reap the reward of your efforts and hard work for the better future. We also call upon the parents and guardians to work together with teachers in giving much needed support to our learners as they enter a crucial session of final examination. Your success will also have a meaningful and contribution and a significant impact on the school and community as a whole. As we wish the class of 2023 all the best, we take this opportunity to remind them that it is their determination and hard work that will yield positive results. Madam Speaker, we wish all the matriculants the very best exams. I thank you, Honourable Speaker. Pula.
Honourable Kekana.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning to yourself, the Acting Premier, members of the Executive who are here, fellow honourable members, all other officials present, and the people of Gauteng. Madam Speaker, in accordance with Rule 81, subsection 1, I, Honourable Refilwe Kekana of the ANC, hereby tables the following member statement on the appointment of the new Public Protector, Advocate Koleka Gcaleka. Madam Speaker, the appointment of Advocate Koleka Gcaleka as the 5th Public Protector to head this all-critical Chapter 9 institution is widely welcomed as a testament to the robustness of the Constitution of our Republic. The critical importance of the office is such that it holds together the fabric of society that the citizens under the authority of the state and the judiciary can take solace behind the shield of a willfully unrestrained champion of justice set up to enforce public accountability. Even as a last resort, when it comes to public interests, all South Africans, powerful or meek, shall have an objective sway over matters of scrutiny through this accessible office. Advocate Gcaleka, a thoroughly qualified young African woman, identifies with the most marginalized people of our nation, who also happen to be in the majority of our population. This broadly relatable trait speaks to the great strides made by the ANC as the leader of society to build a more equitable country. We celebrate this appointment as social justice activists, as liberators, as feminists and progressives all around. It is, however, unfortunate that perpetrators of marginalization and those who long for the oppressive regime we buried through the adoption of this exemplary constitution that bears us the democratic fruits of such Chapter 9 institutions, the crusaders of racial division and sexist bigotry that have appointed themselves as leaders and mouthpieces of democracy in the opposition benches, cannot resist nor hide their prejudices. The utterances of the Member of Parliament, Glenis Breitenbach, were deplorable and must be condemned as sexist, trope that has no place in a non-racial and patriarchal, particularly non-sexist South Africa. Advocate Kaleka has had a sterling, admirable career and upstanding public service thus far, and gives South Africans trust and hope that with her experience in the field, we are all under diligent and fair hands. Ultimately, it will be the performance of the Office of the Public Protector under her stewardship that will be the most important measure of the correctness of the appointment by the National Assembly. We have no doubt that Advocate Koleka Kaleka will perform her duties to the Constitution and the Republic as dictated by the Public Protector Act. Siyabonga, igama lamakhosikazi. Malibongwe. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
That concludes member statements. Honorable Msimang. No. There's no item that says correct. Please. Honorable members who are now in motion without notice in terms of Rule 120. Honorable Deputy Chief Whip.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. A motion without notice read on Tuesday, the 31st October 2023. I, Member T. Makakula, ANC Deputy Chief Whip, hereby table the following motion in terms of Rule 121 and Rule 122 as follows. Noting that 1, the Petitions Committee's second quarterly performance report for 2023-2024 was programmed to today's sitting of Tuesday, 31st October 2023. 2, I therefore request that the House resolves to remove Petitions Committee second quarterly performance report for 2023-2024 from the orders of the day. I so move, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Any seconder to the motion? Honorable Malima.
Thank you once again, Madam Speaker. I rise to second. Thank you.
Seconded, I now put a question. All those in favor say yes. All not in favor say no. The yes have it. The question has been supported by the House. We are now on Rule 121, giving notice of a motion. I want to check if is there a member who wants to give a notice of a motion. There is none. Thank you very much. We are now going to deal with Premier's question time in terms of Rule 138. The first question by Honorable Khatebe to the Premier, which will be asked by Honorable Mhlankomo.
Thank you, Speaker. Question to the Premier. Sarah Mudau, with ID number 5809-022, 0816-085. Was one
please.
of
Colleagues, please.
Sarah Mudau, with ID number 580220816085, was one of the patients that were transferred from Life Esidimeni to illegal NGOs by the Gauteng Department of Health, as it tragically happened with the other patients who passed away due to Gauteng ANC-led government recklessness and negligence. Sarah Mudau was also a victim of the tragic incident. She was at Vetport in Brakpan, transferred to Waverley and to St. Michel. She was again taken back to Vetport, where she died. Poppy Mudau, her sister, reported the matter and submitted a claim in 2019, reference number D100049631. She did not receive any compensation because her sister's name could not be found on the retired Judge Museneke's list. As the Office of the Premier is tasked with handling compensations, and with this in mind, would the Premier please respond to the following questions? Is your office aware of this case and the reference number allocated to the family in 2019? Are the known 144 life acid many patients the only ones who died can be accounted for, be traced and deserving a compensation, or the number was more than that? What has the department done to verify if all patients who were transferred to illegal NGOs are accounted for and compensation is paid to all claimants? With regard to Roman figure 1 above, what avenues has your office explored to ensure that the deceased, even through not appearing on the list submitted by the retired Deputy Justice Museneke, was amongst the patients transferred to illegal NGOs? And when last did your office communicated with the Mutau family regarding this issue? In your response, please explain what both parties agreed upon and if this issue will be given another attention to bring closer to the matter and to the family to proceed with life. Thank you.
Colleagues, I am aware that many of you are worried about the ID number being presented here. Ordinarily, if your ID is going to be publicized, you need to give consent. And it is my view that it might not have been true that the late Sarah Mutau gave consent because firstly, he was not, I think the capacity to do that was not there. But we'll just verify. You know why I stop you? It's because Honorable Mdlankomo is doing it on behalf of Honorable Khatebe. But in future, colleagues, let us be skeptical, let us be vigilant. We can't actually display ID numbers of people without their consent. No other family member can also do that on behalf of another person, especially under these conditions. But through the normal procedures, remember these people supplied information through the investigator was doing these matters. So let's not, in future, let's not try. I think we'll write a formal communication to Honorable Khatebe to be aware that it can be done in this particular instance, especially when we know that the patient was in Vetport. It will be easy to even trace the patient from Vetport. But let me allow the acting premier to respond to the questions.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me greet all members of the Executive Council and honorable members. The reply to the question is structured as follows. We are providing a very comprehensive and detailed context and background to the question and, of course, the whole issue of live testimony. We are placing on record the remarkable and excellent progress that has been made with regard to mental health services, and that is in the reply. I will not go through those details, but we do detail the work that has been done in this regard. And of course, we do give as well a broad breakdown about the payments that have been made. All that is contained in the reply, and simply due to time, and of course, based on what Honorable Speaker said earlier, I will not go through all that as it will take more time. Now, with respect to the first part of the question, the reply is as follows. The Office of the Premier is aware of the claim, and a reference number was allocated to the claim. The claim was part of several others subjected to a verification process. However, the Mutau claim did not meet the entitlement criteria set out in the terms of reference of the arbitration. With respect to number 2, the reply is as follows. In December 2018, the Office of the Premier wrote to Life Health Care and requested the complete list of patients who were discharged as part of the Gauteng Mental Health Marathon Project. That list of names was submitted to both the South African Police Service and Professor Mahuba. To date, the name of the patient, Ms. Esmutau, does not appear on the list of patients that were transferred as part of the Gauteng Mental Health Marathon Project. It is alleged that there are patients who went missing during the Gauteng Mental Health Marathon Project who have not been accounted for. The task of locating missing patients was assigned to the South African Police Service to trace and report on. In addition, the Department of Health continued to assist families who have come forward saying that they do not know which facilities their family members were transferred to. The Office of the Premier has issued a notice in the Government Gazette inviting the public to lodge claims for family members who may have been part of the Gauteng Mental Health Marathon Project and who have as yet not lodged their claims for compensation. Once those claims are received, they will undergo the same verification process as all other cases received. On 3, I think this part of the question has been replied in the previous one that I've just read. Proceeding to 4, also this part of the question has been adequately responded to. The last part of the question, the reply is that the Office of the Premier communicated with the Motau family in September 2020, when the outcome of their claim was sent to them as an official letter. The letter also invited the Motau family to lodge a review application within 180 days with the relevant court of law, which has jurisdiction from the date of the decision, should they be unhappy with the outcome of their claim. As part of the Office of the Premier's guidance to affected families, the Motau family was also advised to approach the Legal Aid South Africa to assist them with the review application. To date, there is no record in our office of the Motau family seeking assistance from the Legal Aid South Africa or from any other legal firm. Thank you.
Any supplementary question or short remark? Okay. Next question, Honorable Mnyai.
Honorable Speaker, I needed to make a remark on Rule 138.
Okay.
If you allow me. I just wanted to retaliate what you have said about the POPI Act. You know, we should be very much sensitive, and I think even from the programming team and our legal team as a house, they should have not allowed, you know, the appearance of the ID number of the deceased. Because as a house, we should maintain the privacy and uphold the Constitution, and the POPI Act tries to do that, and I think it shouldn't be done. We have tried to correct it before, you know, as much as we can, but I think we should retaliate the fact that we should uphold the Constitution and uphold the privacy of individuals, particularly those who are also not capacitated enough to protect themselves. Thank you, particularly if they are dead. Thanks.
Okay, before we pass on that, colleagues, the reason that we did not even present the Rules Committee report, it's only because the rules don't express the views on the POPI Act. So in future, we want to ensure that it should be there, but the member who has submitted a question will be advised in writing about that as well, while the rules are going to be in line with the POPI Act. But thank you very much for raising that. There's no other supplementary question or short remark. Can we therefore call Honorable Munyai? Question to the Premier.
Thank you very much indeed, esteemed Honorable the Speaker. I rise in Rule 138 in placing the question to the Premier. The question, therefore, is as follows, or reads as follows, noting that the Kasi for Real program by the African National Congress-led government, Gauteng provincial government, can the Premier please indicate the following? One, what is the objective of the Kasi for Real program? Second, who is the primary target of this program? Does this program cater for the most vulnerable groups in society, like youth, women, and people who are differently able? In this case, will be the people with disability. Thank you very much indeed, the Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Premier.
Once more, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Madam Speaker. Thanks for the question, Honorable Munyai. You will be really delighted to know that this program is one of the most, innovative, very creative way of dealing with the challenges that faces our people, and I must sincerely thank you for the question. Now, the reply to the first part says that Kasi4 Real, or the real estate access lending, is a new product or program to be introduced into the real estate market. The key objectives of this program are to address housing shortages within the province, to contribute to the formalization of backyard developments in the township within the province, and to enhance the township economy through the provision of funding for the development of township real estate housing. The Gauteng Partnership Fund, GPF, will be providing funding to emerging property developers in the townships for the development of affordable housing on a small scale to address the increasing housing demand in the townships. The intention is to alleviate the housing shortage with the production of formal units, thereby improving the living conditions of those who seek to rent and providing economic benefit to the landlord in the form of rental. The developments will be delivered both conventionally, that is bricks and mortar, or through unconventional methods utilizing alternative building material. And of course, this will be assembled on site. With respect to the second part of the question about who are the primary targets of the program, the reply is, these are the homeowners of formal dwelling houses situated in townships within Gauteng, who own their properties unencumbered and who are in possession of the property title deeds. The property to be improved must have sufficient space to accommodate a minimum of 4 additional units, and the building plans must be approved by the local municipality. With respect to the third part, yes, in the case of youth that don't own the property, they can be included by having them registered as directors in the company that will apply for the loan from GPF. However, the directors registered in the company must include the owners of the property as per the title deed for GPF to consider funding the project. Part 4 of the question, which is about the criteria, the criteria is as follows. Firstly, GPF will fund an application received from a company and not individuals. The directors of the company must be the owners of the property and anybody else that is desired to be part of that. Thirdly, the property must be unencumbered. And of course, the Building plans must be approved by the local municipality when an application is submitted. The applicants must have equity to contribute to the project. Approval of the building plans costs will be included in the project costs and treated as equity. Equity contribution is between 3% to 5%, which is envisaged subject to the feasibility of the project. And lastly, GPF will fund the difference between equity and project costs, envisaged to be between 95% and 97%. Thank you very much.
Supplementary question, Honorable Munyai, or short remark?
I'm satisfied, Honorable Speaker, by the question because they were very clear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other supplementary or short remark? There is none. Honorable Alberts to the Premier. Honorable Alberts. Okay, we'll just pass. We're now going to deal with questions for oral reply to the executive, but I will request that the question that he has asked be responded to so that it doesn't come back to the House. It should be sent in writing. I think if you can just hand over to the table assistants, I think we'll handle that. We're dealing with questions for oral reply to the executive in terms of Rule 134, starting with Honorable Machene, who's supposed to be putting a question on behalf of Honorable Masilela. Oral Njokwe. Okay.
Thank you, Speaker. With regards to the safety and security of learners and teachers in public ordinary schools in Gauteng, could the MEC please respond to the following questions which require comprehensive, accurate, and detailed answers? What is the total number of available security personnel in all public ordinary schools in Gauteng? In your response, please provide figures for the past 2 financial years to date. What measures has the department taken to identify public schools that are situated in areas that are hotspots for violence and crime, such as the Eldorado Park Secondary School? How many learners enrolled in public ordinary schools and have been persecuted for being in position for violent objects on school premises? What is your plan as a department to address the safety and security of learners and teachers in schools? And what is the department's plan to ensure that incidents such as the stabbing at Eldorado Park Secondary School do not occur in other public schools in Gauteng? Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable MEC.
Thank you, Speaker. Good morning, honourable members. To question 1, the numbers of patrollers at our North European schools is for the past 3 financial years, 2021-22, or 2021-22 is 5,000 patrollers, 2022-23 is 5,175, and 2023-24 we're looking at 5,139. To question 2, research was conducted to examine a number of factors such as incidents of burglary, vandalism at schools, violence, bullying, crime statistics reported to the South African Police Services, the existence and functioning of school safety committees. As a result of this research, we have found that 245 schools were identified as schools facing one or more safety challenge, and of these, 75 schools were identified as requiring urgent intervention, which relates to 5 schools per district. To question 3, from January 2023 to date, we have 33 learners enrolled in public ordinary schools have been sanctioned for being in possession of violent objects on school premises. To question 4, the following measures have been put in place. The deployment of patrollers at no-fee paying schools, psychosocial support to learners, safety talks, searches and seizures operations using SAPS, Department of Social Development, Department of Correctional Services, Gauteng Department of Community Safety, Community Policing Forums, NGOs, South African Drugs Action Campaign, South African National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, as well as the Teddy Bear Clinic. Conducting patrols to monitor perimeter fencing of schools and hotspot areas, access controls, search and seizures operation, erection of fences, monitoring of duty rosters, establishing of school safety committees, and linking and relinking of schools to local SAPS stations. We have further employed private security personnel subject to availability of funds. We've also collaborated business against crime, installed CCTV cameras in various schools, conducted school safety talks, as I've spoken to, prison tours, dialogues, outreach programs with the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development to expose learners to mock courts, ensuring an implementation of disciplinary procedures of learners and teachers involved, SAPS and all relevant stakeholders collaborating on safety programs as an initiative to combat crime, deployment of additional volunteers from CPF and trade security personnel in schools, enforcement on non-negotiables, resuscitating of school safety committees, deployment of e-panic buttons, and ensuring learners adhere to school's code of conduct. To question 5, in addition to interventions already listed to question 4, the following interventions have been put in place by the department to ensure that incidents such as the stabbing at El Dorado Secondary School do not occur in other public ordinary schools in Gauteng. We have further launched Kutlamulao program for 75 high-risk schools, including El Dorado Secondary Schools. We've got an anti-substance abuse advocacy campaign on Fridays joined with the MEC for Social Development. Schools have been provided with handheld metal detectors to identify any unwanted or dangerous objects. Security guards have been deployed at the 75 schools that are considered as high-risk schools or schools at risk. And furthermore, perimeter fencing in schools has also been improved.
Do we have a supplementary question? Short remark? Okay. Nothing. Thank you. The next question, Honorable Masoleng, to MEC for Roads and Transport.
Thank you, Speaker. And good morning to everyone.
We can't hear you, Honorable Masoleng.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, good morning to everyone in the House. Speaker, with regard to an oversight conducted by the Portfolio Committee on the 11th August 2023 at Zwartkopt Academy, which is responsible for capacity training and job creation opportunities, could the MEC please indicate the following? Number 1, what are the department's plans to ensure that this academy is known within the road sector maintenance, as most people in the province are not aware that such an academy exists? And in your response, please indicate how much in rent and in sets has the academy costed the department since its inception. Number 2, what are the department's plans to retain the skills, because most of the beneficiaries are EPWP contractors? In your response, please explain in detail these plans, if any. Number 3, since its inception, this academy has not trained any of the people living with disabilities. What is the department's plans to accommodate people from this group? Number 4, is this academy the one that is going to be used to offer driver's license opportunities to the program that the Premier has recently announced? And lastly, number 5, with regard to question 1, 2, and 3 above. Can the department please provide timelines as to when these plans will be achieved? Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable MEC.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and good morning to honorable members in the House. The Zorkop Training Center was established in 1998 to provide in-house training programs tailor-made for the employees of the Department of Roads and Transport in Gauteng. Its main purpose is to provide employees, mainly road workers, with the necessary skills and knowledge to perform the duties as expected in the road maintenance environment. The training is conducted by the department employees who are working from the following regional offices: Derdepoort in Tshwane, Bronkhorstspruit, Benoni, Vereeniging, Krugersdorp, and Heidelberg. The center also assists other GPG departments like GDAD with training their employees on courses like occupational health and safety, road safety, and use of PPEs. However, no training is offered to the general public or private individuals. The training is conducted by employees of the department, and the costs are therefore mainly on salaries of those employees and general upkeep of the center. Question 2, as indicated above, the center only provides training mainly for the department employees. EPWP learners are only trained by the center if they are employed by contractors who are appointed by the Department of Roads and Transport, because workers are not allowed to work on provincial road if they are not being trained on roadside safety, including correct placement of road signs and personal protective clothing. Question 3, the reason why the center has not trained people living with disabilities because all employees that were trained in the center so far did not have disabilities or have not disclosed. The nature of the work that is working on the roads and the demands thereof makes it difficult for the department to appoint the said individuals in such positions for safety reasons. I think Member Masoling will understand this. The center's main focus is on technical skills needed to fulfill the functions as required in the road maintenance environment. Question 4 is no. Zwartkop is not earmarked for the Premier's driver's license project. And then question 5, the training at the Zwartkop Training Center is offered throughout the year as per targets set in the operational plan. Additional training is also done as per department's needs. For an example, the department has recently appointed plus minus 320 young people on the National Youth Service Program in September and October this year, and 64 of this cohort was trained at the center, and another 64 will be trained in November 2023. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Any supplementary question or short remark, Honorable Masoling?
Yes, Honorable Speaker. The MMC did not indicate the costs. Can she indicate the cost? It can be sent through an email. It's fine. Of how much the academy is costing the department. Thank you.
Honorable MEC.
Oh, Speaker, I think my mistake was just to round it off to that we spent only on salaries of the employees that are doing training there, including the upkeep of the center, which is it's done internally. But we will then go to our HR to give Member Masoling how much do those employees earn. Thank you. My apologies for not putting it in rands and cents.
Once again, Honorable Diali Tlabela, the issue of salaries in terms of the POPI Act is not allowed to be displayed. What you can do is the upkeep of the center itself. So the member should actually understand because we may be taken to task. Remember, employees are not public representatives. We only disclose our salaries, but not of employees. I think, Honorable Masoleng, you'll understand. I think the question that you'll have to send or reply via the table assistant is the cost related to the upkeep of the center itself. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable, the next question, Honorable Schneemann on MEC for Roads and Transport.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. In terms of Rule 134, I wish to ask the following question to the MEC for Roads and Transport, which is as follows. Given the closure of the various post offices in Gauteng, could the MEC indicate, 1, how many post offices which were offering the service to renew motor vehicle licenses have closed? 2, has an assessment been undertaken to determine the efficiency of the post offices in rendering this service? And 3, what steps are being taken to institute new service points to assist motorists to renew their motor vehicle licenses in an efficient and effective manner? Thank you.
Honorable MEC.
But, oh my God. Technology is dealing with me. My apologies, Speaker. Question TR006 by Member Schneemann. Thank you very much once more. Good morning, Speaker. On question 1 by Member Schneemann, the post offices that rendered the services of renewal of motor vehicles licenses were 259. To date, 123 has been closed as at September 2023. Question 2, the efficiency of post offices is determined through analyzing the inspection reports of the department's compliance inspectors. The compliance inspections are conducted on a regular basis. The department, question 3, the department initiated the following. 1, contracted Road Traffic Management Corporation to provide online motor vehicle license renewal disc. We have provided a written submission, and the table thereof indicates the transaction that has been concluded through online, and that's about, the table represents about 11% of the vehicle population at the time, as well as during the first 5 months of 2023-2024, we have registered around 10% of the vehicle population at the time. And on B, on expansion of the licensing centers to townships and informal settlement, the department is in the process, and we will be launching one of our TISH centers in Attridgeville on the 10th of November. The tenant installation works are almost done and in practical completion by today. There's an error on the document. It's supposed to read Den Lane, not Main Lane Mall in Mamelodi. Offer to lease routed for approval after budget reallocation submission was done. We also are intending to establish one in Protea Glen, and the lease also is still in the approval processes. The other one will be in Randfontein Umphakathi Mall, and the lease and relevant documentations are also ready for review and approval, as including the budgets thereof. And the last one will be in Soweto Maponya Mall. The site design and lease agreement are in negotiation process as of today. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Any supplementary question? Short back. Honourable Schneemann.
Yes, please, Madam Speaker, if I may. Firstly, let me say thank you very much to the MEC for her response. It's a clear indication that the department is taking steps to ensure that motorists are able to renew their motor vehicle licenses with minimum delay. I'd like to then just pose a further question, if I may, and that is whether any consideration is being given to perhaps interacting with SANRAL to the possible use of some of the current e-toll facilities which are used for motorists to go and pay their e-tolls. Is it not possible that consideration be given that we expand the renewal of motor vehicle licenses to those e-toll offices, given the fact that at some stage they're not really going to be offering much of the service? I'm just wondering if that thought has been taken. Thank you very much.
Honourable MEC.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think, thanks, Honourable Schneemann. That's one of the issues that we are discussing as part of the finalization of our approaches of provincial government on the e-toll, debt, and other issues related to e-tolls. But as of now, we have not finalized such, and also SANRAL has indicated that they still need their facilities, like the post offices. They are also rented out and can come out very costly as compared to what we are doing in different townships in our province. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question, Honourable Litsie Mokhadi, to MEC for Health and Wellness.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and good morning to the honourable members. Member Mohale Litsie, I want to ask the question to the member of the Executive Council for Health and Wellness in terms of Rule 134, and it's read as follows, Speaker. Noting that the objective of the National Health Insurance is to provide universal health care to all South Africans as enshrined in the Constitution, can the MEC please indicate the following? Number one, what is the department's state of readiness? Number two, what systems have the department put in place to ensure that the NHI is successful in the province? And number three, in simple terms, what are the advantages of NHI and how will it be of benefit to the people of Gauteng? Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
MEC.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the first question is that the NHI will be implemented over many years in phases and incremental changes. It will be the responsibility of all role players in the public and private sector to improve the state of readiness of this. And it is expected that the period from 2023 to 2026 will be used to prepare legislation, create the administration, appoint a board and committees of the board, appoint CEO, and move the NHI branch out of the National Department of Health to a new entity. It is also expected that in this period, some of the national allocations like conditional grants will be reallocated to the NHI fund once it has structures in place, during that time, the department will continue to improve the quality and compliance of public services and establishing the structures that must work with that. And they will rally private sector providers to provide the systems to the health, other issues to the health system. And phase 2 will commence at the end of 2028 for 3 years. And in this period, more funds will be moved to the control of the NHI Fund Agency, probably not only purchasing PHC services. And the Department of Health will need to use this period to establish the necessary hospital autonomy for NHI accreditation and purchase reforms, as well as getting the digital systems in place so that we're able to roll out the health information system modules. Then the Department of Health is leading in a proof of concept with some of the reforms and strategies. For example, Joburg Sub-District D was elected for this purpose. The second question, Madam Speaker, goes the understanding and catchments of the clinic usage, which is delimitation of catchments by defined geographic area, ideal catchment sizes are linked to the PHC platforms and thresholds. And the second issue is that stakeholder engagement, transformations and consultations with the 3 metros. That's what we're doing now to ensure transformation of provincialization of EMS to ensure a uniform level of quality of emergency services in the province. We are busy now again with digitalization of all facilities, appropriate ICT infrastructure in all facilities. The other issue is that we are busy with the systems of monitoring standards, high quality assurance, patients care and OHS, and ideal facilities that are compliant. At all levels, again, of our hospitals, we're undergoing a pilot stages of preparedness through a process of self-assessment, which is done through attaining ideal hospital status. We're profiling all our we're working with private sector, profiling them to address the deficiencies in areas where there are gaps that we're having, both public and private. That's why it's us, but that is trying to lead now in that process, doing those engagements with private sector. Internal processes of attained ideal clinic status are continuing to prepare the rest of other facilities to external auditing processes for certification, and Gauteng province has 95.45% of primary health care and community health care centers and hospitals that have already certified, as we are already gearing ourselves for NHI. And we have some certificates that we are getting, and those certificates, Madam Speaker, will be valid for 4 years. In addition, we are working with, as a Department of Health, we are working with the National Department of Health to strengthen hospital boards and clinic committees. We're establishing proof of concept of CUPs. We're creating cost centers and functional business units in public hospitals. We're ensuring that the HPRS is working in all public institutions and is linked to other patient systems. The third question, Madam Speaker, is that according to the census of 2022 that was released in Gauteng, we have 24% of the country's population as a province, and that is the highest proportion of privately funded healthcare system users, and is the largest number of private establishments, which is our GPs, our pharmacies, and our hospitals. So the challenge is that most of the resources that are not available to them, most of the resources are not available to the majority of the public, as they are locked for use for the privileged minority in the private sector. So the NHI will make sure that all establishments are accessible to all residents. And again, the NHI agency will purchase from public and private service providers for everyone. And this means that the deep slot community, for example, will be able to receive their hospital care paid by the fund from areas like Fourways Hospital and have to travel. They are not now going to travel from Deep Slot to Charlotte Maxeke Hospital or to Tembisa Hospital. So they will minimize that, because there will be that centralization that is done and the working relationship that is created with those clinics and the hospitals that are closer to our communities. So it means that, again, the 2/3 of all the specialists who work in the private sector will be accessible to all residents in the province. And it also means that people who live in Gauteng in the weekend and they go home to various areas like Limpopo, Northwest, Mpumalanga, Free State during the weekends, or commute to other areas around the country, will have continuity now of their health care and records across the provincial boundaries, saving millions of rands that they are supposed to spend in that. And again, the patient's frustration is going to be reduced because now everybody will be integrated in the system. The medicine prices will also systematically come down because owing to our economic scales, managers at hospitals will have greater ability to manage their facilities, and the members of the public will be able to see the quality reports of their service providers online. So every person will enjoy the same benefit at the point of care without paying anything when they are ill, because it is going to be prepaid. And this goes to for those presently using private care and paying huge subscriptions to the medical schemes. And there will be no co-payments to the NHI benefits. There are many incremental benefits, but first the NHI bill needs to be the law, and we will be able, once it's the law, to make sure that we enable the reforms that are unfolding. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. A follow-up question or a short remark, Honorable Letsie Mokhale.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to appreciate the responses from the MEC, and having been part of the public hearings on the NHI, I want to share with the Honorable MEC that the people of Gauteng are waiting patiently for the implementation of the NHI. Of course, there are concerns that are raised, and in her responses, I think she attempted to address some of the responses that are raised by the people of Gauteng. And Honorable Speaker, I'm encouraged, amongst others, on the responses that she shared with us, that there are inroads in terms of strengthening relations with the public sector, and also strengthening the committees like health committees. One other issue of importance that she has raised, which is a concern to the community of Gauteng, is the health system, the information health system. So I think we are hopeful that the lessons that the department would have learned in interaction with their counterparts in other countries in terms of the health information system will help in enhancing the implementation of the NHI. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Any comments, MEC?
No comment, Madam Speaker. I'm happy. I'll just sit down with, forward the question to Melitzi, and I'll even sit down with her, because they usually advise me even on other areas where we should focus our energies in terms of this improvement that we're doing. So I'll definitely present that to her and even go further to the chairperson of the subcommittee, because they've been helping the department. They've been instrumental, in fact, Madam Speaker, to some of these things that we're trying to address now in the department, because they've been raising them. And thank you, Madam Speaker, for that support that we're getting from the colleagues.
Thank you. The next question is written questions for oral explanation and tabling in the House in terms of Rule 137, subsection 5. The first question was raised by Honorable Bloom. Can the MEC of Health and Wellness indicate why this question has not been responded to on time? And our worry is that this question is from the previous term as well.
Madam Speaker, I want to apologize because I did answer the question. I submitted even to this committee the report from China which they wanted, and I submitted to the Premier. I answered the question, but I don't know, because I asked for an extension, if you remember, in the previous session. Then now I have the file. I will forward it directly to you, Madam Speaker, so that we can share with Madam Bloom with the report, because in the question, when I didn't answer at that particular time, he wanted the detailed information of the trip, the report from each area that I've visited, including the areas that I went to, what have I seen. So all that information, it's there now. And part of the things that he was asking are part of the things that we're implementing now that are linked to the ICT processes that Letsia was asking in the first question on the NHI processes. Thank you. But you will get there, Madam Speaker. Thanks.
Thank you. Can we make sure that by end of business we should receive it through the proceedings?
Well,
thank you.
Speaker,
the next questions are questions 079, 084, 091, 094, 095, 098, 099, 100, 101, and 102. I'm not sure which MEC is responding because MEC Mutara. These questions were supposed to have been responded to also in the previous term. No further requests were received for not responding. Can we receive, don't answer the question, but tell us why we are not receiving these answers.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the MEC of Kokta, I am informed that the municipalities have not made the information available, neither has Randwater. There's 2 questions for Randwater at the time that the questions were due for submission to the legislature. Thank you.
Yeah, even with that one, Honorable MEC, if you have not responded, and in terms of the rules, what you need to do is to indicate that your response should be, you don't just keep quiet and not respond. If you can actually pass that information, because our worry is that these questions are from the previous term as well. They've been standing for long. Thank you. Can you also do that? Those responses should be received by the proceedings or table assistance for now. Thank you. The next question is the urgent question in terms of Rule 135, subsection 1, which was submitted by Honorable Mfikwe. Then in terms of the rule, I think we felt that this question is not so urgent, but this question will be sent to ATC for further response by the relevant MEC. Thank you. Can we request the Secretary to read the first order on the order paper?
Committee for the Scrutiny of Subordinate Legislation, CCSSL, Second Quarterly Performance Report for the 2023-2024 financial year. Thank you.
Honorable Lucia.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The chairperson on the Committee on the Scrutiny of Subordinate Legislation, herein after referred to as CSSL, Honorable M. Mokhalelitsiye tables the CSSL Second Quarter Performance Report for the 2023-2024 financial year as follows. Honorable Speaker, I'm going to request that parts of the report that I'm not going to read be accepted as read. I'm going to start with committee activities. In accordance with the CSL strategic objectives, the committee's activities unfolded as follows. On lawmaking, in terms of the standing rules of the legislature and the CSSL, regulations are referred by the executive to the CSSL for scrutiny and consideration. In the quarter under review, there were no regulations tabled nor submitted to the committee for scrutiny. It should be noted that this activity is a dependence target. It is largely dependent on the executive submitting regulations to the Committee for Scrutiny. The Gauteng Department of Transport was supposed to have tabled the roads and transport regulations for 2023. However, due to their internal challenges, they were unable to submit and table the regulation in the quarter under review. Oversight and scrutiny. In the quarter under review, the committee conducted 3 meetings as follows. On the 26th of July 2023, the committee convened a meeting to consider and adopt the following matters, which is the CSL strategic plan. On the 17th of August 2023, the committee convened a meeting to consider and adopt the third term committee program, the first quarter committee performance report, which were adopted by the committee. On the 1st of September 2023, the committee convened a meeting to consider and adopt the presentation on the issue raised as encountered by the public mortuaries, both in hospitals and pathology services, by the South African Funeral Practitioners Association. Presentation and adoption of the assessment report on the implementation of the revision of uniform patient fee schedule relating to hospital mortuary by the committee researcher and presentation by the Department of Health and Wellness on issues concerning the implementation of the revision of uniform patient fee schedule relating to hospital mortuary. After due deliberations, the committee resolved to adopt the assessment report on the implementation of the revision of uniform patient fee schedule relating to hospital mortuary. The committee further resolved that the Department of Health and Wellness should implement the recommendation as outlined in the report. On stakeholder engagement in the quarter under review, the committee conducted a stakeholder engagement session with the health stakeholders from the South African Funeral Practitioners Association in relation to the revision of uniform patient fee schedule relating to hospital mortuary regulation. The association informed the committee that the Department of Health and Wellness needs to look into introducing the embalming, which is the treatment of a dead body or corpse, so as to sterilize it or preserve it from decay. That will put less stress to the department on issues of storage of bodies at both government mortuaries and forensics. The committee highlighted that there will be another session in the near future to engage further on the issues raised. On training and development, in the quarter under review, members of the committee attended the legislative drafting and SOM training, which took place at Rosebank, Johannesburg, on the 3rd to the 4th of August 2023. Overall performance of the committee: the CSSL has managed to achieve its quarterly objectives, namely lawmaking, oversight and scrutiny, and stakeholder engagement as set out in the annual performance plan. On lawmaking, in the quarter under review, there were no regulations referred and tabled to the committee for scrutiny. On oversight and scrutiny, the committee considered and adopted the post-legislative oversight report on the assessment and implementation of the revision uniform patient fee schedule relating to hospital mortuaries. Stakeholder engagements: in the quarter under review, the committee has engaged a session with the health stakeholders from the South African Funeral Practitioners Association. On conclusions, the plans which were set out in the second quarter of the 2023-2024 financial year with regards to the implementation of the committee's strategic objective have been achieved. On acknowledgement, special thanks are due to all honourable members for their participation in the committee. Again, the committee will further like to thank the support staff for their dedication and support work towards the committee. On adoption, after due deliberation, the committee adopted the second quarter performance report for 2023-2024 financial year. In accordance with Rule 164, the committee presents the report to the House and recommends its adoption. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Any seconder to the report? Honourable Serota seconding. I now put a question. All those in favour say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All not in favour say no. The yes have it. The report is adopted by the House. Thank you very much. That concludes the business for today. Our next sitting will be on Tuesday, the 28th of November 2023 at 10 hours sharp. The House is now adjourned. Thank you.